We currently have 8 confirmed house sits in the United Kingdom covering 77 nights. During those 77 nights, we will not be paying an Airbnb or a hotel bill. So I searched for comparable lodging for the same dates and locations to find out what those house sits might actually be worth. The conservative total came out to $11,832. But I'm not going to call that $11,000 in savings without explaining exactly how we calculated that. Some locations had a direct one-bedroom comparison, some had no suitable rental in the same town, and 2 locations, the only available properties were oversized homes, so we had to adjust the price. Then there are the costs and responsibilities that house sitting doesn't eliminate. Today I'm showing you every sit, every number, and every compromise so we can answer the real question. Can house sitting actually make our $2,500 a month full-time travel budget work? Hi, I'm Pam, and this is Cruise Casino Secrets. We talk about casino offers, travel points, and smarter retirement travel. We use trusted house sitters as one piece of our retirement travel plan. But this isn't going to be a video claiming that house sitting gives everyone unlimited free accommodations. House sitting involves animal care, homeowner expectations, transportation problems, possible cancellations, and less freedom than booking your own hotel. The lodging value can be substantial, but the number only means something when we can show you how we reached it and what we're giving in exchange. For each confirmed sit, we searched Airbnb using the actual dates of the house sit. We looked for an entire place suitable for 2 adults, preferably one with a bedroom or a studio and a kitchen. We did not select expensive luxury properties simply to inflate the total. When a reasonable one-bedroom option appeared, we used the lowest suitable choice. When nothing appeared in the exact town, we used a nearby regional option and labeled it that way. And when the only available properties were oversized homes with several bedrooms, we divided the lowest property price by the number of bedrooms to create a conservative one-bedroom estimate. That last method is not perfect. You can't actually reserve 1/5 of a 5-bedroom Airbnb, but it is more honest than claiming we saved the full cost of a large vacation home that we never would have booked. These prices are also snapshots. Airbnb availability and pricing could change before our 2027 trip. Our current confirmed UK house sits are Lancing for 7 nights, York for 9 nights, Chichester for 9 nights, Cowes on the Isle of Wight for 5 nights, Pontypridd in Wales for 8 nights, Melksham for 17 nights, Northampton for 15 nights, and Calne for 7 nights. And yes, I'm sure I butchered every one of those names. I apologize. Together, those 8 sits cover 77 nights. They're spread between May 21st and September 4th, 2027. Now let's price them out one at a time. Our first sit is in Lancing from May 21st to May 28th. The Airbnb search showed only 3 entire place properties for our dates, and all 3 were large homes. The lowest one was $4,378 for a 5-bedroom property. The other available homes were also oversized, including one costing more than $7,600 for the week. We would never claim that our house sit saved us the full $4,378 because Larry and I do not need a 5-bedroom vacation home. So we divide the lowest price by 5 bedrooms. That produced an adjusted 1-bedroom value of about $876 for 7 nights. That is not an apartment we would actually reserve for $876. It's an estimated value based on what was available. I would rather underestimate the benefit than pretend that we were replacing a luxury beach house. Do you think dividing oversized property by the number of bedrooms is a fair adjustment, or would you leave Lancing out of the total completely? Tell me down below in the comments. York gave us one of the cleanest comparisons. Our house sit runs from May 28th to June 6th for 9 nights. The lowest suitable 1-bedroom entire place option shown was $2,314 for 9 nights. And that works out to about $257 a night. There were other 1-bedroom options costing more than $2,800, plus several larger properties costing considerably more. But we used the lowest appropriate 1-bedroom option. So for York, we recorded the full 2314 because this was a real property that closely matched what the two of us would need. Our Chichester sit covers 9 nights from June 7th to the 16th. The lowest suitable small property shown was a 1-bedroom coastal studio costing $832 for 9 nights. That's only about $92 a night. It was not directly in central Chichester, so we're labeling it as a regional comparison. It might require additional transportation or a different daily routine, but because we're trying to stay conservative, we use the lower regional option rather than the larger property closer to Chichester that was costing more than $2,000. Our recorded value for Chichester is $832. Our housesit on the Isle of Wight covers 5 nights from June 16th to the 21st. The search did not show a suitable entire place rental close to Cowes for our dates. The lowest option shown elsewhere on the Isle of Wight was $777 for 5 nights. That property appeared much further south near Shanklin. Staying there would not be equivalent to staying in Cowes. We would be in a different part of the island and would have additional transportation complications. But instead of using one of the more expensive choices, we recorded the lowest island-wide option as a conservative regional fallback. Our Pontypridd house sit runs from June 22nd to June 30th. The closest reasonably priced option visible in the search was approximately $1,383 for 8 nights. That equals about $173 a night. There were less expensive properties further away, but using those would require changing the location and potentially adding substantial transportation. There were also nearby options costing much more, so we used the $1,383 as the conservative Pontypridd comparison. Melksham is our longest confirmed sit. It runs from July 11th through July 28th for 17 nights. No suitable entire place rental appeared directly in Melksham for those dates. The nearest appropriate 1-bedroom option shown was in Central Bath at $3,096 for the 17 nights, and that equals about $182 a night. Bath is not Melksham. Booking that apartment would mean changing our location and possibly adding transportation costs. So we're calling this a regional replacement estimate, not a same town comparison. But it was the only suitable 1-bedroom option shown in the surrounding area. Melksham's estimated lodging value is $3,096. Our Northampton sit runs from August 6th through August 21st for 15 nights. A 1-bedroom cottage west of Northampton was listed for $1,808 for 15 nights. A 2-bedroom property closer to Northampton was $3,550. Dividing that 2-bedroom produces approximately $1,775. Those two methods landed within $33 of each other, so we rounded the comparison to $1,800 for 15 nights. That works out to about $120 a night. Our final confirmed sit is in Calne from August 28th through September 4th. The search didn't produce a suitable 1-bedroom property in Calne. Not sure how to say that, I'm so sorry. The lowest nearby entire place option was a 2-bedroom farm stay costing $1,507 for 17 nights. We divided that by 2 bedrooms to create a conservative 1-bedroom equivalency of about $754. Again, we could not actually book half of that property. This is an estimated value, not an available $754 reservation. But it gives us a reasonable way to include the location without claiming the full cost of the oversized property. Would you include these adjusted values, or would you calculate only the locations with a direct 1-bedroom comparison? That decision changes the final cost, so tell me which method you think is more honest. Here's the complete total. Lansing, $876, York, $2314, Chichester, $832, Cowes, $777, Pontypridd, $1383, Melksham, $3,096, Northampton, $1,800, Calne, $754. Together, our 8 confirmed house sits cover 77 nights with a total estimated comparable lodging value of $11,832. That averages about $154 a night, and that's a very meaningful number, but it's not the same thing as putting $11,832 into our bank. The basic hotel comparison might have been lower, but it wouldn't include kitchens, laundry facilities, and a living space that we kind of need for longer stays. There's another number that we can't ignore. The period from our first house sit on May 21st through our last one ending September 4th covers 106 nights. Our confirmed house sits cover 77 of those nights. That means we still have about 29 nights between sits when we need somewhere to stay. We have airport hotels, one-night transitions, and several longer gaps. Some of those nights may be booked with points. Others will require hotels, private rooms, or short-term rentals. So house sitting currently covers about 73% of this portion of our UK trip, and that is substantial, but it doesn't eliminate our lodging budget. The $11,832 is a gross comparable lodging value. We still have expenses connected to this strategy. We pay for our house sitters membership. Some sits may require more expensive transportation than a centrally located hotel. We even expect to rent a car for the York sit. We will pay for trains, buses, ferries, taxis, travel between locations, and the gaps between house sits will still require lodging. We should subtract only the costs created specifically by the house sits, not every transportation expense on the trip. We would still need transportation if we stayed in hotels. But if a remote house sit requires a rental car that we wouldn't have otherwise needed, that cost belongs in the calculation. We are also providing something in exchange. During a house sit, we are responsible for someone's home and probably animals. That can include feeding schedules, medications, walks, litter boxes, cleaning, and staying close enough to handle the animals' needs. Our Pontypridd sit includes a dog, a cat, a pony, ducks, and chickens. There will be morning and evening animal care there, daily mucking, and a dog walk. At some sits, we may be able to leave for several hours, and at others, the homeowner may prefer that we stay close to the property. We accept these responsibilities in exchange for the use of the home, and that's a value exchange. It is not a free vacation rental with no obligations. Our current Trusted House Sitter membership includes a sit cancellation plan. Under the current terms, an eligible cancellation may provide up to $150 a night towards alternative accommodations, but with a maximum of $1,500 for that sit. The coverage applies for up to 30 days annually across multiple sits. For longer sits, the current terms say that the first 3 eligible sits of the year may still be covered even if they total more than 30 days. That protection matters, but it doesn't guarantee that every replacement hotel will be fully paid. If the available room costs $225, we're still going to have to pay anything over the $150. We may also need to pay first and provide documentation and then wait for compensation. The terms could change before our trip, so we'll verify them again before we depart. Our dependable retirement income is expected to be $26.86 a month. So that $11,832 in comparable lodging value equals more than 4 months of that income. But avoided spending is not the same as income. Trusted house sitters won't deposit that $11,000 into our account. Instead, it might prevent us from having to withdraw that amount to pay for lodging. And the difference is what makes long-term travel budget possible. Casino offers reduce some cruise costs. Points and miles reduce some flights and hotel costs. Lower rentals lower our average nightly rate. And house sitting covers a large portion of our UK's lodging. But none of those tools will work alone. Together, they change the math. Would you accept the pet care responsibilities and reduce flexibility in exchange for 77 nights without hotel bills? Tell me what your personal limit would be down below. So after pricing all 8 confirmed house sits as honestly as we could, what's the real answer? Our current total is 77 nights with an estimated comparable lodging value of $11,832. And that works out to about $154 a night. It does not mean that house sitting is going to give us $11,832 in cash. It means that if we needed to replace these stays with comparable home-style lodging, we likely would have spent about that much. And that is the key distinction. It is avoided lodging costs, not income. It's also gross value, not net savings, because we still have membership costs, transportation costs, a rental car for York, and 29 nights outside of these sits that still need lodging. But even with those limitations, that number is very meaningful, because without these house sits, our travel budget would be carrying a much heavier lodging burden. So the honest answer is these 8 confirmed house sits appear to be worth about $11,832 in comparable lodging value, and that's the number that the math supports. The honest answer is that house sitting will not eliminate every lodging expense, but our 8 confirmed sits currently over 77 of those 106 nights in this part of our UK itinerary, that is nearly 73% of the time. Based on conservative comparisons, those sits represent approximately $11,832 in gross lodging value. We'll still have membership costs, transportation expenses, lodging gaps, and the risk of cancellation. And we are exchanging our time, flexibility, and dependable pet care for the use of these homes. But without house sitting, keeping our full-time travel expenses near $2,500 a month would be much harder. So no, house sitting is not free travel. For us, it is a practical value exchange that might help us avoid almost $12,000 in home-style lodging costs during this portion of our trip. If you're considering trusted house sitters, our referral link is in the description. When someone joins through that link, we receive 2 additional months of membership at no extra cost to you. Now tell me in the comments, would you accept the responsibilities of caring for someone else's home and pets for 77 nights without a lodging bill? And do you think our $11,832 estimate is fair? I'm Pam, and this is Cruise Casino Secrets. Play the math and live the life, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.